Hello YouTube, this is William. Welcome to another introduction video of a new prototype that is being tested for the Northern Woods. And this, as the name of this knife indicates, the Northern Woodsman. It is for larger game up north, the larger elk, the moose, the large bears, large game. It's a large game skinner and camp knife. That's the design intent. Pano, who is from Canada, he and I have been talking for quite a while now, passing pictures back and forth and designing this knife of what he has in mind, envisioned that he needs for that northern territory. He wanted a knife that would skin those animals, as well as take care of some firecraft, camp chores. He wanted a very versatile knife for the northern woods. And that's what this knife is intended to do, and I think it's going to do it very, 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 very well. So let's move the camera down and let's go through some specs. Okay, this blade is made from 5/32 steel. This one is actually D2 steel. He wanted to try something that was stainless or stain resistant. The blade is about 6 1/8, 6 1/4, just under 6 1/4. So the blade's going to be around 6 inches. The width of the blade is going to be right at 2 inches or just under. Wanted width, so as you're doing those straight cuts, you wanted something that would help you in those straight line cuts, especially removing the hide from the carcass. The tip, he wanted a raised tip, so that when you're skinning, your tip is contacting the flesh, but also your hand is away from the animal. So it brings your hand up so that you're not interfering with your cuts. The grind is a very shallow grind at this point, or very steep, however you want to look at it. As you can see how high it comes up on the blade, it's very short. So that means it's very steep, so it's a very strong point. Right here, if you can see how that point is, it's very strong, and that strong point is so that you can get in those joints and separate those joints on the larger animals. Then you can see as the saber comes up higher up on the blade, that means that it's a very good slicing, or it's more travel up the blade, so that you don't have as much of a pinch point, so that you get a very good slicing portion here on this belly. It has a very deep belly for those. Again, we're skinning large animals, so we like that belly to where it doesn't, the tip is moved away from the animal a little bit, so that when you're slicing through it, your tip is less likely to puncture that skin or that hide. A straight portion here, so that when you're doing those camp chores, those vegetables and things, you have a straight edge to slice and chop up those veggies, slice through the meat and all this other stuff, and it just helps you when you're doing your kitchen chores, and also some of your carving and things like that. Again, he wanted a sweet spot. He liked the sweet spot on the SK, the WCSK, so we incorporated it here, which decreased this area here to where it has a narrow area to do those carving and those twist cuts when you're doing those camp chores for pot hangers and tent stakes and things like that. If you can also see, the height of the secondary grind is higher. That means the apex, the angle is the same all the way through. This is the same angle, so when you're sharpening it, it's the same angle that you maintain all the way through when you're sharpening it. The only difference is the apex is on the primary grind. The saber grind is what makes it appear to be different angles, but it's not. I wanted some apex, the thicker apex here, because it gives you wedging properties when you're doing the batoning and things like that for firecraft. So that's the reason it's more robust here. It's a stronger edge at this point, and yet it's not too strong to where you still have the finesse of doing those fine curls for your Firecraft. As you can see, it does feathers very, 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 very well. So I think overall, and the handle is the standard handle that I've come to love, and many others has come to love, as far as the many positions that you can take for your major chopping, your standard grip. You choke up on here, and so this blade, this 6-inch blade, actually becomes a 4-inch blade. So that it's for that very fine, detailed slicing cuts when you're butchering game. You have that grip, so that you have a lot of control. The balance on the knife is right there at the pommel, which I like that. So on the larger knives, if you have a well-balanced knife, there's no arm fatigue, because your arm is not continually trying to lift a heavy blade or push or force a lighter blade into something. You still have the tool weight, but yet it's balanced to where you don't feel that weight. Right now, this is going to be a custom order, and if you go to my web page, wcknives.com, everything is on my web page. Okay, if you go to my web page, there's a hamburger menu list up at the right corner, at the upper right hand corner. Click on that or touch that, and it'll have a drop down menu. Okay, that's called a hamburger menu. That's the universal sign for a menu. So if you see that on any website, that means there's a menu there. Okay, so if you touch that or click on that, the menu will drop down, and if you go to the custom order page, it will give you pricing and unit prices, and you can just kind of pick and choose your custom order to fit your needs. So all the pricing is on that page. Go there, and if there's something that you want that's not listed, then put in the comments of that form, fill out that form and send it to me, and put in the comments what you'd like something different, and I'll give you a price if it's not listed. Okay, so this one is going to Pano. Pano's going to be using it and working it hard for the next several months. But if this is something that you think that you would like, that would fit your needs, then you definitely need to get on the list. My waiting list is still 12 months for custom orders. So if you want one of these for next season, then you need to get on the list. So with that said, thanks Pano for working with me on this, and I hope I know it will serve you well, buddy. If we need to make adjustments here and there, we can do that too. But anyway, until the next one, you guys get in the backyard, whittle on a stick. Be sure and take plenty of Band-Aids with you. Lots of knives. Get you one of these Northern Woodsmans. Hey, fine knife. Catch you again soon.